What's up, YouTube? Eric B., your host here at High Defamation TV. Did that rhyme? Did I do that on purpose? No, I didn't do that on purpose. It was an accident. Jesus Christ. What's up, everyone? How's it going? It's fucking Monday night, September 15th. I should be studying for my ongoing educational credits, but I'm not. Instead, I'm sitting here in front of a camera, talking to an invisible audience about records that I have acquired, because I want to keep regular with this thing, at least semi-regular, and I've been pretty good the last little while. Missed a couple weeks. I got sick. Shit happens. I got really sick, actually. Shit really happened. And now I'm feeling better. And some dude fucking smoking meth out back. I got a door right there. It goes to the back alley. A bunch of people smoke meth back there. So some dude in the meth told me I was wearing a cool shirt. Now I'm in a good mood. So here we are. Got a video for you. More tales from the used bin. Not the bargain bin. We got a couple bargain bin scores here, but this is all just used shit that's, been added to the stacks over the last, few months. I'm actually working on like a few purge boxes right now, and I thought, okay, well, I could try and make a lot of money and fucking sell this shit on Discogs, or even start up like a big cartel used shop. But they're all just gonna go to a shop up north. Jesus. They've been open for about a year, and the dude's super cool. Go way back. And I want to support his shop. I want to hook him up with like a bunch of cool shit. And I'm pulling some bangers off the shelves because I got to make room. This apartment is not big. It's not big. My records are taking over, so we're minimizing. But at the same time, we're maximizing because I keep buying more records. Anyway, I pull a stack, some 7 inches, some tapes, some LPs, no CDs. Anymore, the only thing I really listen to CDs on is the car. And for that reason alone, I won't completely deride the existence of compact discs. I know a lot of you love it. They just don't do anything for me, man. Like, I don't get excited. I don't get, like, music listening to me, unless I'm in the car, is a very tactile experience. And I like to have something in my hands to look at, to read, to observe as I listen. I tend to try and not be one of those people that just puts on the record and just fucking starts farting around, and that record becomes just background music. When I'm listening to music, I'm really trying to tune in on what it is that's playing. Anyhow, I figured we'll start with, we can start with the 7 inches and the tapes probably, and then we'll move on. But this might be just kind of all over the place. The first thing I got that I want to talk about tonight is an album from, let me see, can I decipher a date? Shit. I don't think I can. It's about to be too bad. Yeah, I don't know. Late 90s. Guyana Punchline. Killer EP. 4 songs on here. I don't know who released it. I can't read the label. Anyway, sounds for the new youth aesthetic. Gnarly cover, like a fucking insane cover there. Nothing special. Red vinyl. Cool little piece, man. These guys were like, I don't know, late 90s, like gnarly screamo. And don't, people say screamo these days, and I feel like a lot of people get the wrong impression. They think like fucking Atreyu or fucking any of those string of early 2000s bands that were on MTV that put up, wore the guy liner and were soft boys. Nothing wrong with soft boy music. I listen to a fair amount of it. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about gnarly, feral, fucking just like pulling that chain to the absolute brink of tautness, screamo slash metalcore slash fucking hardcore, gnarly music, and this is that right here, borderline grind. Think like, a bit more focused. The Locust, probably not as unhinged as the Locust, if I'm fair. Anyway, Youth for Smashism EP. This record smokes, man. It is just off the rails, savage hardcore, and I love it. It's killer. Around, I don't know, same era, mid to late 90s, we've got this fucking Unra EP. Now, this was in a bargain bin because it does not include the outer cover. This is actually the inner sleeve of said EP. Edema number 2, King of the Monsters number 3, Abiology number 3. This Unra album is rad. If you're not familiar with Unra, they're from fucking Arizona, I think. I could be wrong. Put out a couple LPs, bunch of 45s, this being one of them, and they're just savage. I don't know, you could probably lump them in with like Integrity from the same time frame. A little bit of Ringworm influence on here, but unlike Ringworm, Unra used a lot of fucking distortion. Cool labels on the album. We got Dr. Jack Kevorkian on the B side. This fucking record smokes, man. Everything they do is rad. I already have this material. I have the box set, which is both their LPs and then a LP that is a collection of their EPs and comp tracks, and this is on there. But I saw this for like $1, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy that. No contest. What next? I don't know. Let's talk about a tape. Let's talk about a couple tapes, maybe. How about this one right here? This band put out a bunch of stuff, and their full-length LP, their one and only full-length LP, and a comp of EP shit, was just, I think, reissued through Havoc Records. It's Detestation, and this is the fucking Unheard Cries material set. Who released this? Consensus Reality. Detestation were a Portland crust band from the fucking late 90s, and they ruled. A lot of the usual suspects of Portland crust were involved in this project, including Kelly from Mass Control or Defiance. I can't think of his last name. Usually it's like top of the mind. I think he played with Resist for a while also. Anyway, this material is awesome. Detestation were super feral, unhinged, as are all the best. Crust, and like catchy, melodic, and fucking just like bordering on like that blackened tinge, kind of akin to like His Hero Is Gone. Definitely had a darkness that some of the other crust bands didn't share. They were just full on abrasively loud. This stuff smokes, man. I got the full length, and then like several of the EPs on 45/7-inch. This tape smokes. Super cool to find this just in a cheap bin at a used shop down the street for like $5. Can't complain about that. And then, fuck it. Let's talk about another cassette. Why not? We're gonna move on. Well, no, you know what? Fuck that. We'll move on to an LP. Why not? You guys are stuck with me for a second. I was super hyped to find this. This is a fun one. Was not really aware of it existing, but yeah, didn't even hesitate to grab it. We've got High on Fire with a 3-track EP, Bad Salad. Got Fat Salad on the A side. That's an original by fucking High on Fire. If you would like to think that maybe it's a little influenced by Rat Salad, you'd probably be correct. The B side is cover tracks. Into the Crypts of Rays and Don't Bother Me. Into Crypts of Rays, of course, Celtic Frost. Don't Bother Me. Bad Brains. Matt Pike led Insanity. This shit rules. The original track is killer. The covers are killer. Vinyl is very cool. Like, I don't know if you can see it. It's like a green and black splatter on clear vinyl. Anyway, I don't usually get, oh my god, about colored vinyl unless it's like really cool, like that fucking Contention record I showed last update. Is that the last update? Yes. And then this one is sick too. Just fucking rad. If you know High on Fire, which you should at this point, especially if you're watching my channel, there's no reason you would dislike this. I'm sure this stuff is available somewhere else. It's not just a 3-track LP, but fuck, man, it's cool. Super hyped to have that in the collection. Now, we'll talk about something fun. Ludacris with their Power Trip cassette. First of all, love the Robert Williams fucking painting for the cover art there. This shit is actually my desktop background on my laptop. And here we've got the band. Ludacris would go on to become Scatterbrain, who kind of suck. They're pretty funny, but nothing that I would write home about. This stuff, on the other hand, is really rad. NYC, like, just killer. Very metallic. It's got some of those like Seinfeld-based moments, but they're drowned out by the cacophony of the metallic encore that the rest of the band is playing. It's awesome. Probably a little bit better than the album where it's got like a dude carrying a cross that's made of dildos. I can't think of the name of that one, although like it's in the tip of my brain, and I feel like it's obvious. I just can't place it. Anyway, doesn't matter. This one's killer. Yeah, highly recommend. And another one that was the cheapest, it's like, I don't know, $5, $8, something like that, in that neighborhood. I'm gonna sneeze. One moment, please. Oh, man. Nobody clipped that. What's next? Let's talk about another vinyl record. LP, that is. This is a split LP. This was in the used section in another local. All these were found locally. None of this was ordered on the internet. It's a split between Cloud Rat and Disrotted. Unassuming initial cover, but it's a 3-panel gatefold. It's huge. One moment. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Okay, there's the center. Anyway, this record is rad. And then we've got the negative of the cover on the inside. Fuck. If you don't know these bands, and I suppose it's in black, so I won't bother showing you that. Curb from Mike C. Town. Love you, bruh. What was I going to say? This record smokes. And by smokes, I mean, it doesn't literally smoke. It's not a fast record. Cloud Rat are fast. Disrotted is some of the most absolute vile, slow, bedraggled sludge you will ever hear. Sort of like Legion of Andromeda. Disrotted are gnarly. They make Grief sound like a pop band. They make Come to Grief sound even poppier. Noothgrush could be Ramones compared to Disrotted's material. It's so slow. It's so just dirge driven. that you just tune in on it. You like lock in, and you just become hyper aware of what's going on in the music. And all of a sudden, you realize that you're locked into a riff that's just absolutely pummeling you monotonously for the extent of their side of the split. Now, Cloud Rat, on the other hand, are they're also a very dark band, but they're very melodic. They're very fast. They border on grind a lot of the time. I think most notably though is probably their melodicism, honestly. Like, and they embrace it. So it's filthy, and it's grindy, and it's blackened for sure. There are definitely moments where you think, well, this could be a black metal band, and then at the same time, it's melodic and almost empowering, but again, very downtrodden when you get to its core. It's rad. It's just really good. I was kind of surprised to find this because it's not that old of a record. Disrotted, I believe their 2 full lengths were put out by Nerve Alter. I could be wrong about that. At least one of their albums was put out by Nerve Alter. And I wasn't even really super aware of the split. I know both bands, but man, killer stuff. Absolutely great. Have to give that kudos for just popping up randomly. And then another 7-inch. Ooh, this one's a good one. This was a really good one. Sage Visual by Vegas. That used to be a double V, and then they shortened it to just a V. Vegas are a Holy Terror hardcore band. I'm not really sure about much of the like actual legitimate information behind this band. They keep their details obscured for sure. Where they're from, who's in the band, etc., etc. We got, first of all, we got a download code. I don't even know if this has been proliferated already. I haven't done anything with it, but here, in case anybody is feeling plucky, there you go. This shit rules. It's super gnarly, hardcore, in the vein of like Integrity, Sarin, Ringworm, again, like latter era Ringworm, not like the early shit where it's not distorted, but like the late Victory records when they got signed to Relapse material. You got a Vegas sticker, killer. And the Last Anthem sticker, also killer. This 7-inch is awesome. 4 tracks. There's the back. They all rip. Sounds like this art. So let that sink in for a minute. And that's it for the 7 inches. See, I got sick. And that fucking tickle. You know that tickle that comes up when like your lungs are trying to expel all the phlegm which have accumulated inside of your body. It picks like the most inopportune times to rear its ugly head. That's right now. So I apologize. I apologize, dear viewers. There's more of it. Jesus fucking Christ. Here's another one. Tape. Oh, what is that you say? Ignition. Machinations. Discord Records. 1988, I think, on this one. Yeah. Dude, this was super. I found this today. And part of the reason why I wanted to make this video. Original labels on the cassette. Ignition famously featured Alex McKay, relative of Ian McKay of Minor Threat and Fugazi. And that's a good reference point for what Ignition kind of sounds like is Fugazi. Like a little bit. Like, it's, but like, whereas Fugazi is like more like melodic and sing-songy. Love them. I'm going to talk about them at length pretty soon. Something I've been teasing at. They also kind of borrow from like that school of like Rites of Spring and like the Faith. So a little post-hardcore in there, a little emo, but like it's still pretty unhinged and really fucking good. Highly worth picking up. You know, I'm very well familiar with these guys. Like, I was a Discord kid back in the day. And I've never had this tape or LP. So, finding it in the wild on my way home from work, kind of wild. Alright. Next up, talk about another fucking record. Another LP. And this one was a fucking score. I couldn't believe I found this in a while. Harvey Milk. Courtesy and Goodwill Toward Men. This is like a grail of mine, man. I've been after this record for a very long time. There's the back. It's like, these are handmade jackets. No insert. And I don't think the records are anything. Yeah, well, they're gray. Kind of like a swirly gray. Anyway, this stuff is so good. Harvey Milk put out a fair amount of material. I've got another one of their LPs. This is a double LP. The other LP I have is just a single. And I think I've talked about that as well in a random finds video from like last year. This shit is just gnarly doom, sludge, but like with like weird elements of like hard rock. But like almost like hipsterish hard rock, but like it doesn't annoy me like a lot of that shit like has a tendency to do. They don't feel like they're posing or like they're trying to be too cool for school. If anything, they're trying to say, hey, look at us, we're fucking retarded. But like the humor works with the despondency of the sounds that you'll find on this vinyl. It's just crushing, slow-paced, plodding doom / sludge / like noise and ambience. It's so cool. It is a fucking great LP. And you know, it wasn't cheap, but it was cheaper than it should have been. So I was pretty stoked about that. And ultimately, to have one of these in the collection, it's like one of those like capstones on like a really good sludge collection, right? Like you've got fucking Torso by Grief and Courtesy and Goodwill Toward Men by Harvey Milk. Just as examples. We've got one more to show, and this was another find from today on my way home from work. Same place I got that Ignition cassette. Wait, no, not the same place. I went to 2 record stores today. One on my lunch break. This was purchased on my lunch break. Soul Invictus, Trees in the Winter, Trees in Winter. Very, very sparse, minimal album cover. 1990 LP. That came out of an $8.99 bargain bin. This was on the front, but it was just like a post-it note. Scratch. That's why it was $8.99. You know, and I took it out. I took a look at it. It doesn't come with anything other than the vinyl. There's the A side. There's the B side. A side has a very visible scratch. I looked at it. I kind of ran my finger along it just to see if it, you know, if you could feel the scratch. A lot of those scratches that you see on a record are just superficial. Like you run your finger along them and they have no feelings or no indentation. This one you could definitely feel the scratch. It was not quite a gouge, but pretty deep. God fucking damn it. Unbelievable. So rude. Anyhow, I took a gamble. Brought it home. Yeah, it just plays right through the scratch. You don't even hear it. A lot of records, you actually hear that pop and crack. A few pops on this in the quiet parts, but when that scratch happens, nothing. It just plays right over it. Sick. This is a great record. Early Soul Invictus. I think maybe their third or fourth full length. It's Tony Wakeford. He was in Crisis early anarcho-punk from like the late 70s, also featuring fucking Douglas P. from Death in June, and dude from Solemn Vic. No, not Solemn. This is Solemn Vic. Dude from fucking Six Com. Can't think of his name, but I got a couple Six Com records that we might talk about at some point. And they split as a peace punk, anarcho punk band, whatever you want to call it. And then for some reason they all decided to get real edgy, especially Douglas P. With Death in June. Whereas Death in June was very serious and very focused on just dour, edgelord sort of behavior. You had Six Com, which was kind of like a, not jokier, because he had some serious shit too, and some kind of edgy album artwork, but you read his liner notes and he clearly was not taking a whole lot of it seriously, especially after his experiences with Death in June. And then Tony Wakeford, who wasn't really ever formally involved with Death in June, just went on to do, I think, this project for the most part. He started off kind of an edgelord with the first couple records, but then he kind of, I don't know, saw the light of day. Came out and was yeah, that's stupid. And honestly, some of that mid to later Saul Victus shit is some of my favorite stuff in neofolk, period. I love Saul Victus. Even some of the edgelord shit's really good. This record is really fucking good. The track "Looking for Europe," honestly, that's worth the price of admission on this album alone. Even if we're not an $8.99 record, but say a $20.99 record, with the scratch, that song alone worth the album. It's killer. Just super dark. It's got that militaristic rhythm to it, but Tony's a good enough songwriter that he can make shit melodic and catchy, and dark, kind of skirting with post-punk on some tracks, neoclassical on others, but it's this bombastic amalgamation that just really works. I haven't heard a Saul Victus record I don't like, and finding this one, this original press, because most of the other ones that I have are all reissues that Prophecy did. They're really nice reissues, but reissues nonetheless. This is one of the few originals, and it's rad. I fucking love it. Anyway, that's the last thing I've got for you guys tonight. Just shy of 30 minutes. There'll be more. I appreciate everybody that's been commenting on the vids, coming by and saying what's up, and engaging me in some conversation. So, hit me up. Let's talk about music. Hopefully I have something a little bit more themed coming up. These are just easy to do. They're easy to knock out in 20 to 30 minutes, and no problem to upload. So in the meantime, y'all take it easy. Be good to yourselves. Be good to everyone else. Fucking chill and be real. Later, YouTube.